right, basic linear equations. Can anyone tell me what this word linear means when we have a linear equation? Who can tell me what the word linear means? Yes. Oyabongwa, can you help me? What does linear mean?
I think it means one.
Oh, yeah, that's very close.
Okay.
It does
Very
kind
close.
of mean one. It does sort of mean one. It basically means that for every x value, we would have a y value. So you are right. Linear is talking, it means straight, so like a straight line. If I was drawing a graph, remember when we did graphs in grade 9? We just started doing like the graphs. Maybe some of you remember this equation. Does anyone remember this equation? Or am I bringing back dark memories from grade 9? Okay, so some memory. Does anyone else remember y equals mx plus c? I bet see some names coming down here from Watobe, because I taught this with some of you in grade 9 last year. So if I'm getting no's, I'm going to be very hurt. Okay, good. All right. Okay, great, Winnie, that's awesome. That means we're on the same page, and then it'll help you in class. So when we have a linear line or a linear equation, it basically means, remember, these are your x values and these are your y values, that for every x value, I only have one y value, or for every y value, I only have one x value. So basically, it's 1. I've got one answer for x. I'm only going to get one thing, and that's where that 1 is coming from, which is great. Okay, so there's only one answer. So when we're looking at a basic linear equation, our goal is basically we want to get our x's or our y's. Basically, we want to get our variables, not x squared, onto one side, and then we want to get our numbers or our constants onto the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so we want to move things. Now, when they move, what happens to their sign? So, for example, these were dark times. I remember going through them. If I move that 3x over to the right, what happens to that sign? What's going to happen? Uyabongwa?
It's going to change into a negative.
Good, good. Okay, so when we move over that equal sign, our signs change. So let's try and go through this. I know that this might seem super easy. I'm just going to go through this step by step, and then I'll let you do the next question all by yourself. Okay. All right. So what we're wanting to do is we want to move everything with a variable to our left and everything with a constant to our right. But that doesn't, the order doesn't matter. Okay, so I want to move that 2x onto the side. So I'm going to keep my 3x and I'm going to say minus 2x because it's moving across the equal sign. And then I want to move that negative 4 onto the side. So I've got negative 1 plus 4 on the other side. So now I've got 3x minus 2x, which just gives me 1x. And on this side, negative 1 plus 4, which gives me 3. And so my answer is just x is equal to 3. Okay. At this point, is there anyone who is unhappy with this type of question? I was feeling a little bit confused. Cool. Emma. Okay, Emma, tell me where the confusion is coming in.
Emma, you can unmute.
Okay. Emma, I'm going to move down because yeah. Okay. I will, don't worry, those of you who are arriving now, don't panic. I will obviously still be talking to you. I'm not leaving you completely in the dark, but I would like for you to give this question a try. So remember, we're wanting to find things that have variables and we want to move them all onto one side. And then we are wanting to find the terms that are just constants or numbers and we want to move them all to one side. Okay. Oh, Emma, don't panic. I will explain this one fully once I've given everyone a chance. So don't stress. Okay. So give this one a go. see how it works. And if you have an answer, you're welcome to put those answers in the chat for me. And we can go through them together afterwards. And remember, with a linear equation, I'm only going to get one answer for x. Okay, I see some answers coming through. So let's try and go through this one step by step together. Okay, I see quite a few people coming. Oh, that's a highlighter with this answer. Oh, again, I'm just highlighting things with this answer. And I want to talk about why a lot of that is great and why some of it needs a little bit of work. So our goal is to get our x's onto one side and our numbers onto the other. So this 4x is going to stay put. Nothing happens to it. This negative 2x also stays put. Nothing happens to it. And that 3x is going to move over. So its sign is going to change. So it was positive 3x and now it's going to become a negative 3x. Okay. Then we look at our numbers. This 1, nothing's happening to it. So it stays as it is. And that 5 is going to move over that equal sign. And it was a positive 5. And now it is going to become a negative 5. Okay. So we're at this point over here. We've moved all of our x's and we've moved all of our numbers. Then we start simplifying. So we just look at these guys over here. 4 minus 2 is going to give us 2x. And 2x minus 3x gives us negative 1x. And on the right-hand side, we've got 1 minus 5, which is negative 4. Now, lots of you got to this point, which is great. But we never, ever give our answer as negative x. We always want to give an answer as a positive x. Okay, so when we get to this point here, all we do is we divide by that coefficient of negative 1. Remember, we did some of these last year. Let me just put a little reminder here. Like if I had 2x is equal to 8 and I want to find out what x is, we divide by the coefficient so that that goes away, so that x is then equal to 4. So that's exactly the same thing we're doing here. We're dividing by negative 1 so that the coefficient goes away, and then x is equal to negative 4 divided by negative 1, which is positive 4. So that's why I was saying there's a lot that's right with this step, but we need to take it one step further and say that x is equal to positive 4. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes. Hi, sweetheart.
on the second step, I said negative 5 plus 1. Is it correct?
That's absolutely fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you guys give me an idea of how we're feeling with this question so far? So, well, like this type of work, 0 is telling me that you're really not understanding and you're very, very unhappy. 10 is meaning we're doing amazingly, and any number in between is any number in between. So just let me know how you're feeling with this so far. Okay.
Okay. Because I wasn't see.
Cool. I'm so glad that you started this topic in class. Okay, the signs, yes, the signs can be a little bit nasty to us. The x doesn't have to be on the left-hand side, but remember, we like to be snobby in maths. And so like one of the things that we like to do is we like to have our x on the left. It's just one of those things, but it's not wrong if it's on the right. Okay, cool. Let's go. Oh, you can't do this. It doesn't have an equal sign. Let's try this one. Okay, so obviously I'm stepping it up a notch here, but remember that the first thing we have to do is we need to work out how to simplify each side. So in this case, the very first thing we need to do is we need to simplify both sides. So I'm going to work with you with this one. I want you to just look at this left-hand side over here. So I want you to completely ignore what's happening over here for the moment. In that left-hand side, how many terms are there? How many terms are on the left-hand side? Give me a number in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many terms are there? Beautiful. Look at you. Brilliant brain buffs. Oh, I love your brains. Okay. So 1, 2, 3 terms. There are 3 terms on the left-hand side. Okay. How many terms are there on the right-hand side? So how many terms are there here? Guys, you make my heart skip a beat. Look at those beautiful numbers. There is 1 term on the right-hand side. Okay, so the first thing we do is to simplify both sides. We want to identify our terms so that we know where our distribution happens. Okay, so here, nothing can happen to that 5h because it's just a 5h. That's its whole term. Nothing can happen to this -3 because it's its whole term. But over here, we have to distribute that negative sign into both of those. So we have to say, well, negative times h is negative h, and a negative times 2 is negative 2. Then on our right-hand side, we distribute the 3. Oh, what happened there? Cuckoo. 3 times h, which gives us 3h, and 3 times -5, which gives us -15. Okay, so that was the new step here. Now from here, I would like you to carry on with this question and find me an answer. And in the next question, I'm going to want you to do it all the way from the beginning.
Mangoba seems to have a question. Yes, Mangoba? You are muted. And Fato.
Are those expressions?
So technically on each side, it would be an expression, but the whole thing together is an equation because of the equal sign.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fato.
Okay, Seko's got an answer coming in. Let's see if everyone agrees or disagrees. So we seem to be in disagreement or agreement over the sign. Some people are getting -10 and some people are getting +10. Let's see. So what I like to do at this point is I actually like to simplify it as much as I can before I move on. So I would probably link these like terms, and I would link these like terms before I did anything else, just because then there's less numbers floating around, so I'm less likely to make a mistake. But you don't have to do it this way. So 5h minus h would give me 4h, and -3 minus 2 gives me -5. And then on the left-hand side, I've got 3h minus 15. Okay, I'm now going to move my 3h onto the left-hand side. So I have 4h minus 3h. And I'm going to move my -5 onto the right. So I'm going to have -15 plus 5. Now 4h minus 3h just gives me 1h. And -15 plus 5 gives me -10. So a big congratulations to all of you who got -10. That is absolutely awesome. You get the party hat. Shame, let's put some hair on our little man. Give him a little bow tie. That's great. Okay, so if you got h is -10, you are definitely on the right track. If you got h is +10, something just happened with your signs somewhere along the way. So just be careful of what you do. Okay. Cool. Let's try another one. Okay. I'm not going to help you at all with this one. Well, I mean, obviously I'll help you when we go over the answer, but I want you to try and do this one by yourself. Don't fall for the trap that I have set you. Ignore the trap. Walk around the trap. Do anything to avoid it. Nokabonga, how can I help?
Can you please just go back to example 3 for just 2 seconds.
Sure. Okay. Okay, we've got our first answers coming in. Just keep going. We've got one more after this, and then I've got a puzzle for you. But it's quite an easy one. So we'll see. Okay, so we're getting different answers coming in. That's okay. Different answers is good. All right, let's have a look. Let's see how we go. So our first step here is we want to make sure we get our terms right. So we've got one term, two terms, and then that term is all by himself. Okay. And then we are going to do our simplifying of both sides. So the 1 is just the 1. Then we have -3 times x, which is -3x, and -3 times -1, which is +3, and that is equal to, oh, hello, 4x minus 4. Who got that step completely right? Who got that step right? Let me know. Great. Awesome. Yeah, you can definitely use the hands up emojis, guys. Just remember to lower them afterwards so that it doesn't look like you're asking a question later. Great. Okay.
Well done.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Now from here, we want to get all our x's onto one side and our numbers onto the other side. So I'm gonna keep my -3x over here, and I'm gonna move my 4x over. And remember, you could move them to the right-hand side if you wanted to. And then I'm going to keep my -4 over there. I'm going to move my 3 over. So it's going to become -3. And I'm going to move my 1 over, which will be -1. So now I've got -3x minus 4x, which gives me -7x. And that's going to be equal to -4 minus 3, which is -7. And -7 minus 1, which is -8. Okay. Who got to this point? Who got to the point of -7x is equal to -8? Okay.
Nice. Quite a few hands.
Okay. So I think what happened to some of you who landed up getting the answer of x is equal to 8, when you moved this 4x, you didn't make it a negative. I think that's what happened for some of you. Okay. Last step, we divide by the coefficient so that x is by itself. So we're going to divide by -7 and divide by -7. And so I land up with x is equal to 8/7. And because we're in high school, we can leave that as a improper fraction. We don't need to change it to a mixed number. And that will be our final answer. Okay. Does anyone need to sit on this question? Okay.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Hello.
I got -8/7.
Was
Did
it
you-
7 negative or
Yeah.
positive?
On the left hand side was it a -7x?
Oh, okay. Okay, I see my mistake. Sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's
No,
what we're here
don't worry.
for. Lulama, can I move down? Have you got it? Okay, great. Okay, last one before your puzzle break. Give this one a go for me. Remember, identify your terms, simplify each side. Let's write these steps out for those of you who are struggling a bit. Okay, identify terms. Simplify each side. move x's, move numbers, and solve. Okay, so I'm actually really glad that this question was asked of, can I give the answer of x is equal to 1,14? We definitely are not allowed to give answers in decimal form when we do equations. You have to leave your answer as a fraction. So your teacher may be kind to you at the beginning of the year and might not subtract marks, but by the end of the year, they definitely will. And in matric, they definitely will. So always leave your answer as a fraction when you're dealing with equations.
Ma'am, can I answer the question?
Yeah, that would be great. Can you talk me through it?
Okay, so first we're gonna multiply negative with p.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly, before you jump in, I'm just going to quickly highlight our terms for everyone. Okay, go ahead.
It's gonna be 7p minus p plus 6.
Good. And then on our right-hand side?
5p plus 10
Good.
plus 3.
Excellent. Okay, next step.
And you on the left-hand side, you say 7p minus p minus 5p.
Good.
And on your right-hand side, you say 10 plus 3 minus 6.
Good.
Well done.
Then p is equal to 7.
Yay! Nice job. Excellent. Okay, I feel like we're getting there, guys. This is coming together. Are you feeling good with this section so far? I'm seeing like good answers and hearing good questions, so I feel like we're on a good track here. Okay. Kamba, I know that you're getting these right as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our quick puzzle, and then we're going to jump into the world of fractions, because I know you all hate fractions, and so we need to jump into the fraction world. So enjoy your moments of puzzle, and then we're fractioning. I know you don't like them, but we have to embrace the fraction. Okay, are you guys ready? Get your brain ready for the puzzle. It's a quick one. So if you're not quick, you're gonna fall behind. Okay, and good. I want to know what a cat plus a pig plus a donkey is. Let's make it more interesting. I want to know what a cat plus a pig, oh, that's too big, times a donkey is. I also don't know if this is a donkey or a horse. Maybe it's more of a horse. I don't know. 40 is not correct. $272 is not correct. Negative 20 is not correct. 21 is not correct. 64 is not correct. Ah, 90! Tiago got it! It is definitely 90. Oh, now a whole lot of 90s are coming in. Ah, Charlize, and your hand was up and you had the 90. Well done. Okay, but Siama got in there first this time. It is definitely 90.
Say the answer.
Ah, Charlize, why didn't you?
But then I thought it was wrong, so I had to figure it out first.
No, trust your gut next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Nokabonga, you were close. That's good. That's very good. Okay, let's go through how we got to 90, and then we can move into fractions. So our cats, 3 cats is equal to 30, which means each of our cats has to be 10, because 10 plus 10 plus 10 is 30. So that means that this cat over here is 10, and 2 pigs minus the cat give us 22, which means the pigs must be 22, 32 altogether. And so each pig is 16. So now we've got 16 minus a donkey, which is 11, which means our donkey is 5. And so our final answer is 10 plus 16 times 5. 16 times 5 is 80, and 80 plus 10 is 90. Well done to those of you who got it. And for those of you who were close.
I said the donkey was 17.
How?
I don't know.
Chukabonga! 16 minus 17 would give us -1. But it's okay. Also, can we get into a consensus here? Do we think that this is a donkey or do we think that it's a horse?
Donkey.
Yeah, okay.
The horse.
Nah. There's no way that's a
The
horse. That's a
horse.
donkey.
It's a horse.
Donkey, man. Donkey.
Look how
No,
short
no,
it
no.
looks.
It's
looks
a donkey.
It's a donkey.
It's a mule.
It's a
It's a
horse.
horse.
It's
mule.
a horse because
It's a donkey.
Yeah.
donkey
The
means a
mule.
horse.
It's a donkey.
An
Okay.
ox.
An ox. What?
A mule.
How?
Oh, okay. Masejo, I think, has the best answer. A doe horse. We're gonna
Yeah.
call it a doe
Hey.
horse. It's a doe horse. That is what it is. You're absolutely right. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's dive into fractions, guys. Linear equations with fractions. Okay. I'm gonna talk you through this one. We're gonna go through it step by step, so don't panic. And then I'm gonna let you try the next one. Okay. First thing we want to do when we're dealing with fractions is we want to get everything to have a denominator. Okay, so we want everything to have a denominator, and we're doing that to help us so that we don't fall off the wagon and forget that they exist. So things that don't have denominators, like these guys over here, what would we put under them? Good, Chantal, exactly, over 1. Okay, so I'm going to write this as 3, I'm actually just, 3r minus 2 over 5 plus 2 over 1 is equal to 5 over 1. Now this question, you actually could do multiple ways. You could move the 2 and then multiply by the 5. But for the sake of how our questions are going to go, we're going to learn this set method because they'll help you with the harder questions. Okay, so our first step was to make sure everything had a denominator. Our second step is that we want to get a common denominator across, I forgot how to spell denominator, there we go, across the whole equation. Okay, so that means that I want to have, when I'm talking about the whole equation, I'm meaning this whole thing. I want everything to have a common denominator. So in this case, what would our common denominator be? I see an answer coming through our chat. Yes, it's going to be 5. Okay, so in this case, our common denominator is going to be 5, which means I need to multiply that by 5. And what I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. And I need to multiply that by 5. And I need to multiply that by 5. Okay, so what I land up with is 3r minus 2 over 5 plus 10 over 5, which is equal to 25 over 5. Who remembers what I'm allowed to do in a fraction equation when everything has the same denominator? What am I allowed to do? I'm allowed to do something very sneaky and special.
KFC.
KFC is only when we do division with fractions.
You take 1/5.
I can take, I'm allowed, I'm seeing some answers coming through the chat. I'm allowed to delete the denominator. So when we have a common denominator across a whole equation like this, so they're all the same as each other, we're actually allowed to get rid of it. It's like it doesn't exist, it goes away. So once we have a common denominator, we don't need to write it anymore. We cross out the denominator. Okay, so I'm just going to keep them there for the moment so we can write our steps. So we would cross out the denominator. Okay, so I'm going to have 3r minus 2 plus 10 is equal to 25. Now I just have a normal equation like we've been doing all this time. So I'm going to multiply that 3 into both. So I'm going to get 3r minus 6 plus 10 is equal to 25. I want to keep my variables on one side. I want to move my numbers onto the other side. So I get 3r is equal to 25 minus 10 plus 6, which gives us 21. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And so I get a final answer of r is equal to 7. So our last step here is just to solve the equation. Okay, so let's just go through these steps one by one, and then I'm going to let you try the next one. The first thing is that anything that didn't have a denominator, we put it over 1 so that we don't forget about it. The second thing we did was we got a common denominator across the whole fraction. So in this case, our common denominator was 5. Next step, we crossed out the common denominator. So we only kept our numerators. And then the last step here was we just solved the equation. We did a normal linear equation until we got our answer. Okay, so that's step by step how we do a fraction equation that is linear. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Okay, let's try one for ourselves. Okay, so step by step, anything that doesn't have a denominator, give it a denominator of 1, find a common denominator, cross out your denominator, solve the equation. And then give me your answer in the chat. Matlacho, how can I help?
Can you go back up for a minute?
Sure. Okay. Can I move down?
Thank you, ma'am.
No
Yes, ma'am.
problem. Okay. All right, let's go. Give this one a go for me. You definitely will be solving the equation. It's just one of the later steps. So we just first have to get rid of the fraction. So the first thing we have to do is we've got to try and get that common denominator. And then once we've done that, we can solve the equation. I know, guys, just take it step by step. Don't forget your first step. First step is to make sure that everything has a denominator. So we're going to make that 6/1. Okay, we're getting some answers coming in. All right, let's try follow our steps. Oh, wait, does anyone need more time? Just let me know. If you need more time, you can even just, no problem. No problem, guys. No rush. Okay, let's go one step at a time. First step, anything that doesn't have a denominator, we're going to put it over 1. And the reason we do that is because otherwise we forget about it and we don't multiply it by what we need to. Okay, so that's our first step. Second step, we need a common denominator. In this case, what is our common denominator?
2.
Oh, there's something higher.
4.
There's a 4. Okay, so if you cancelled this 2 and this 4 and you made that a half, then your common denominator would be 2. But if you didn't and you left it exactly like this, then it's going to be 4. So I'm just going to work with 4. But if you had done the halfway, then you're absolutely right. And we would just look at it in a slightly different way. Okay, so our common denominator being 4. So we need to multiply that by 2. We need to multiply that by 4. And that's why that 1 is so important, because otherwise the 6 just gets left out and we forget about it. And we need to multiply that by 2. Okay, so we land up with 2p over 4 minus 2p over 4 plus 24 over 4 is equal to 2p over 4. What am I allowed to do now?
Cross out denominator.
Excellent. I get rid of this denominator. I don't want it anymore. It's gone. Okay, it was a common denominator, so now it's gone. Now I can just simplify my equation. So I've got 2p minus 2p and they cancel each other out. So I'm just left with 24 is equal to 2p. And I'm trying to get p to be alone. So I'm going to divide that by 2. And I'm going to divide that by 2. And I get an answer of p is equal to 12. Because 24 divided by 2 is 12. Okay. How did this question go? 0 to 10. 0 terrible, 10 amazing. Let me know.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
why did we
offensive?
divide it? Why did we divide it by 2 and not 24?
So we always divide by the coefficient. So we always divide by the number that is next to the variable. So just because it's not what's on the left-hand side, it's the number that's in front of the variable.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. That's okay. Last step often confuses lots of people. Guys, if you get to this point over here and you're feeling confused because your variable is on the right and not on the left, you can just swap them around. So 2p is equal to 24 and then go from there. That's also completely fine. You're allowed to swap them. Okay. Oh no, Ryan is 0. Hopefully we can get those zeros to be a little bit higher as we move along. Okay. Let's try another one. Okay. Okay, let's give this one a go.
My dream dolls.
For this one, I'm going to help you a little bit because it's a little bit different from the last ones that we've done, just because there's 2 terms happening at the top of some of them. So in this case, the first thing I want you to do, as soon as you've got 2 terms that are in your numerator, the first thing that I'd like you to do is to put a bracket around them. Okay, because if we don't put that bracket, then sometimes our signs get a little bit sad. So first step here was to bracket where we have 2 terms in the numerator. Okay, cool. Next step, we do the same thing that we did and we put everything that doesn't have a denominator, we're going to give it a denominator of 1. So now I'm going to have x plus 3 over 4 minus x plus 2 over 8 is equal to x over 2 minus 1 over 1. Okay, so we gave things that don't have a denominator of 1. That was the only change in that step. What's my next step, guys? What am I going to do?
Find the common denominator.
Good, I'm going to find a common denominator. And in this case, what is my common denominator? Good. Okay, my lowest common denominator is 8. Okay, so now we just have to see what we need to multiply things by. We need to multiply that 4 by 2. Now, the reason I said put those 2 in brackets is because we have to multiply both of those by 2. But luckily, we've been doing distribution since grade 9, so we can just stick a 2 in front of the brackets. Okay? The 8 doesn't need to be multiplied by anything, but sometimes I find it easy to write a 1 and just put a 1 there, but you don't have to do that. And then times 2, we have to times by 4. and the 1 we have to times by 8. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite that step out here. So we've got 2x plus 3 minus 1x plus 2 is equal to 4x minus 8. And all of them would be over 8. And because they have a common denominator, we're allowed to get rid of it. Okay, so that was the complicated step up to here. Now, from this point, nothing is new. Nothing is different from this point. So I'd like you to carry on this equation from there and see if you can try and get an answer. And then in the next question, I'm going to let you start it from the beginning. And remember, if you have questions, ask away, send us a message in the chat. We're here to help you. Yeah, how can I help?
May I see the answer?
Can we just give everyone a little bit of a time to do it? But I will call on you in like 2 minutes.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, Bonolo, talk me through my answer here. Where'd you go? Where's my lovely answer? Oh, there you are. Hello.
I'm here.
Okay.
So
What am I going to do?
You're gonna write down 2x plus 6.
Good.
Negative x negative 2
Good.
is equal to 4x minus 8.
Beautiful. Next step.
And then you're gonna swap around. So you're gonna write down 2x minus 4x minus 4x, and then you're gonna write down minus x
Good.
equals negative 8 plus 2 negative 6.
Good. Excellent.
Well done.
Next step.
And then you're just gonna say 2, basically 2 minus 4 minus 1 between the x's because the values are the same.
Good. And so what does that give me on the left?
That will give you negative 3.
Good. And on my right-hand side?
I got negative 16. No, I was
Okay,
wrong. Negative 8 plus 2 minus 6. Negative 12, sorry.
There we go. No worries. Okay. Last step, we need to divide by the coefficient on both
Negative.
sides.
Yeah.
And so what does x equal?
X is, what I got is x is equal to 4.
Yes. Yay. Well
Done.
done.
Woo!
That's awesome. Great work. Okay. Okay, guys, this is sort of how we're feeling now. I know that this is a little bit tougher because I've added some things in, but are we feeling okay? I'm seeing a lot of people who got the right answer, which is great.
I've lost brain cells again.
No, how did you lose brain cells? You were doing so well with them.
No, they'll grow back eventually, but I am losing them
Okay.
again.
Okay, as long as they grow back.
That's the
we're
theory.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give, oh, I want to try one like this. Let's give this one a try. Okay, so the only thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to let you try and work this one by yourself, the only thing I'm going to do to remind you is that and that. Now it's all you. Give it a try. I believe in you all. Yay! Being over the moon is the best place to be, especially in maths. Oh, yeah, I can go back and then just, if you can either take a screenshot or a photo, depending on what you're working on. Okay, Tim, I'm going to move down. I hope you've got it. Okay. All right, guys, give it your best go. I believe in you. One step at a time. Don't let that minus sign mess you up. Okay, I'm not gonna go through everything. I'm just gonna do the next step just in case people are struggling a little bit. Okay, so I'm just gonna do one step at a time here, and you can check if you're on the right track. So the first step here is we wanted to get a common denominator. And in this case, our lowest common denominator, let me get a solid color going on over here. Our lowest common denominator would be 10. Okay, so I'm just going to write this out like this. So x plus 3 over 2 minus 2x minus 1 over 5 equals 2 over 1. Now, my common denominator is going to be 10. So I'm going to multiply this by 5. And so I'm going to chuck a 5 at the front. I'm going to multiply that by 2. So I'm going to chuck a 2 at the front. I'm going to multiply that by 10. So I've got 10. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am, can I answer?
Yeah, you can definitely take me from this step.
Ma'am, I'm not done yet.
Oh, sure. Okay, let's just wait a little bit, and then we can go on from there. Okay, so this is just the first step, guys. Just make sure you're on the same track as me. This is the part that I was worried about. Make sure you've written that part correctly and that you haven't forgotten this guy over here.
Ma'am, may I try answering it?
Let's just wait a little bit longer.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Hi.
When are we gonna do the multiplication and all that stuff?
Oh, what are you meaning?
I don't know. Maybe we haven't gotten to that module yet. The part where you have to take out lowest common. Sorry, not lowest common denominators. The part where you have to factorize. And
oh, factorizing. Okay,
yeah.
So we did that in our last module.
Very last module.
Yeah, the last course that we just did.
Oh, okay.
But we will be doing some more factorizing because we do factorizing with equations. So there will be some factorizing later in this course here as well.
All right, that was my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. Okay, my answerer, can you come on for me? Right, thank you. I didn't get to see the name of who was going to answer, but I know I had a volunteer. This is your time. Where did you go? Ah, there we are.
So,
hello. Okay.
Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am. Ooh.
Yeah, go ahead.
5x.
Okay.
Plus 15.
Yeah.
Minus 4x.
Yeah.
Plus 2.
Good.
Equals 20.
Beautiful.
And then you're going to say 5x. Minus 4x. Equals 20. Minus 2.
Yeah.
Minus 15.
Beautiful. Left hand side.
And then you're going to say x equals 3.
Yay, well done. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nice job. I think we had 2 volunteers there. I think there was some miscommunication. I'm so sorry for who didn't get an answer, but you can do another question for me later. Okay. At school, we're doing x to the power of fractions, and I want to, x to the power of fractions is tough. We will try and get there later in this course, I promise, when we get a chance. Okay, guys, we have time for one more question tonight. Let's have a look. I think let's go to this guy and let's finish off here for the night. Yes, sweetheart, how can I help?
I'm sorry to be left behind, but I'm a bit confused.
I know it's already been an hour, Fancy. Our time just disappears. Can you tell me where you're getting confused in the question? Like which step?
The second last step. I wrote 5x minus x is equal to 5 minus 15 plus 20, and I got 10.
Okay, it sounds like your numbers got a little bit mixed up there. Can you just check something for me? Can you just check if this over here, if this guy, if you have the same numbers as I do? While you check that,
Oh, no.
okay, that's where the problem came in. Yes, Seko, thank you for answering for Winnie there. You can keep that conversation going. Nokabonga, yeah.
Where did the 2 come from?
So this -2 times that -1, that gave us the +2.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, last question of the night. Time flies when you're having fun. Last one, and then we can
ma'am,
call it a night. Hi.
Can I ask that when are we going to do mixed exponents?
We're only going to do exponents a little bit later in the course. We're going to first just make sure that all of our equations are solid, and then we'll get into some equations, some exponent work.
Thank you, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and factorization. We'll do both of those a little bit later in the course. Don't worry, they are coming. This is a long course. I think we have 8 lessons. I think we're going to be doing this course until the end of term.
Ma'am, can I answer?
Yes. Is this average?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, can I call on you in 2 minutes?
Okay.
Thanks. So factorization, just factorization, we did that in our last course that we finished last week. But we will relook at factorization when we do it in equations in a couple of lessons time. So you will get some help with it. It'll just be in a bit of a different format. Okay. Average, take us away. What is the first thing I'm going to do?
Okay, the first thing you're gonna do is find the LCD, which is 12.
What's the first thing I'm going to do before finding my LCD?
You put 2y over 1.
And something else?
And you multiply 2 over 3. Like
I put those in brackets.
Oh, okay, forgot about those.
Okay, yeah, we brackets and we put that over 1. Okay, go. Next one.
After that, you multiply 4 with 3.
Okay, so I multiply that by 3, which means I need
And
to put a 3 there.
Yes.
Okay,
Then you
next one.
Multiply.
Have I lost you?
Multiply 1 with 12.
Good.
And 2y with 12.
Good.
Yes, then you multiply 3 with 4.
Good.
And 2 with 4.
Excellent. Okay. Talk me through the next step.
Then you're gonna write 3 open brackets y minus 5.
Good.
Close brackets over 12.
Okay.
And 24y over 12 and 8 over 12.
Good. Okay, and now that I have a common denominator,
Cancel out the denominators.
I can get rid of it. Yay.
All done.
Okay, next step.
Then you say 3y minus 15
Good.
is equal to 24y minus 8.
Yes.
Then you say 3y minus 24y is equal to negative 8 plus 15.
Good.
Then you say 3y minus 24y, which is equal to 21y.
Negative 21y.
Yeah, negative 21y.
Yeah.
Then you say this again, negative 8 plus 15 is equal to 23.
Oh, so close.
Oh no,
Positive 8 plus 15
sorry,
is 23.
It's equal to 7. It's equal to 7.
Good. Is equal to 7. Okay. Last step, divide by the coefficient.
21 divided by 21.
So what's my final answer?
So then y is equal to negative 1 over 3.
Yay!
Sure, I was gunning for you there.
Nice. This was a tough question, guys. Remember, we always got to end on the hardest. Okay, let me know how this question went. Who got this question right? Who got there somewhere in the middle, 0 to 10? How did this question go? Or you can use an emoji, anything, just to let me know how this question went.
I mixed the numbers.
Ah, you say banana. Yay! I love the emojis. Oh no, a crying face. That's not a good emoji. Okay. That's okay. If you're getting them wrong, remember, just practice, 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 practice. We will start our lesson on Tuesday by doing a couple of these, and then we'll move on to our next, on Thursday, sorry, and then we'll start our next little section. But that is our time gone. It is already finished. It is already 7. So I hope you all have a lovely evening. You don't need to think about maths anymore. And I will see you all on Thursday. Okay. Have a good week at school.